learned as kids stick with us. And often they have the faces of the people that we love and admire all over them. Their guidance, their sayings, their rules, they're still in our heads. We were taught to be kind, to trust each other, and to treat each other nicely in that sandbox. And that guidance, those rules, are some of the most important that have guided us throughout all of our lives. They're also some of the best guidance for how to behave in business. The beloved companies grow by living those lessons. They get rid of practices that might inhibit employees' ability to deliver care or prohibit their ability to act in good conscience. They honor the human at the end of their decisions, build balanced relationships between customers, employees, and partners. After Indra Nooyi was named the CEO of PepsiCo, she went back to India to visit her mother. And her mother said, "Indra, wear something nice," which she did, "come into my home and sit on the couch," which she did. And what was interesting was a whole line of people came into the home of Indra's mom, and of course, they acknowledged Indra. But then they went right to her mother and congratulated her for raising a daughter who would become CEO. Now, what was interesting for Nooyi, here she is, she just became the CEO of PepsiCo. She was reflecting on it and thought, that makes perfect sense because it was my dad and my mom and the values they instilled at me that enabled me to be the kind of leader that I am. And so, after that day, she began to do something that she thought she owed the parents of her key executives. She handwrites a letter to the moms and dads of each of her top leaders saying, "Thank you for the gift of your child to the company. Thank you for instilling who they are to let us become who we can become." What Nooyi does and what all the best and beloved companies do is that they find people first whose values are consistent with their own, and then they enable them to thrive. And what's important about this is that as technology is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our lives, what's important is to level out the purpose of technology, which is to enable care, enable people to do the right thing, to raise, but it takes starting with that life to know when to wire the technology in. In 2010, Toby Cosgrove, the CEO of Cleveland Clinic, brought everybody together. There were thousands of them. And he said to his entire team, people respect how we deliver, how good we are technically at what we do in healthcare, but they don't like us very much. And so what they did were 3 key actions back then, and that's really the purpose of this book for me as a gift to you, is that there are simple things that we can do. And I'm going to walk you through those 3 things that moved them to this high love rating from patients and families, and also being ranked number 2 by US News and World Report. Number 1, they created a very simple no passing rule. What that means is that no matter who walks by a hospital room with that red call light on, you must go in and care for the human. You must go in and care for the human. It doesn't matter if you're a florist or a tech or whatever your job is, you are given permission to stop and take care of the life. Number 2, prior to this, only doctors, ironically, in healthcare were called caregivers. Now on everybody's card and job description, they have caregiver in their title. This again raises people's level and gives them permission. If you're delivering flowers and you see that somebody's pillows are rumpled, take the time. You will be celebrated for it. And number 3, they got rid of that crazy silo experience you have if you've ever been in a hospital or a family member's been in there, where you have to keep telling your story over and over and over and over again, depending on the doctor or the blood person taking your blood or the tech or the nurse. Instead, they do what they call rounding in the 360. They go as a unit and care for the whole life. When you care, you are cared back. So do you show up as a caring company? The beloved companies grow by proving with their actions that they have their customers' best interest in mind. Now, companies only achieve this when their leaders and organization realize the paradoxical reality that to achieve your goal, you need to first enable your customers to achieve their own. Our responsibility really is simple. It's to improve lives. We're all dealt life, and we get to choose if we're going to be a giver or a taker. Leadership bravery in business breeds givers. Peoples whose personal behavior earns admiration, human and financial prosperity, and yes, growth. How we choose to correct something that goes wrong, how steadfast we are in delivering the goods, ensuring quality, and giving our people what they need sends a signal to our customers, to our employees, and to the marketplace about who we are and what we value. So choose. Choose to enable employees to bring the best version of themselves to work. Choose to get rid of the soapy moments that make us crazy. Choose to start with the life. Choose to create a balanced relationship between your customers and your employees and partners where both sides win. To aid you along in this quest, you might think and ask yourself, would you do that to your mother? Thanks, everybody!